Am I good? Okay. So I have a stupid thumbnail. I need to change that so bad. Okay, let's go back there. Mm, what was the quest? Plus, you know what? I might. Oh no, I think she will actually like have me kill the chieftain. That guy is not soloable, at least for me. Mm, maybe if I have something else. Oh my god, the same people every day, all day. Like, are people really like farming gold on this place? Like, come on. Yeah. Excuse me. I don't like my current. Oh, okay. Mm. People say that. Mm, People say that getting the health warning like is like oh, you're cooked, you know. But damn, I don't know if it was streamed. Like I used to get them like all the time when I was farming mobs. Like even now, I'll probably get it. Yeah, look, low health. Oh, am I really cooked? I don't know, man. I might just be built to different. I mean, to be honest, like look, uh, where is it? I'll make myself a mongoose, and I guess I can do this one. Oh, somebody's tryharding. Okay. Why am I using this and this? Okay, whatever. Mm. Oh, there's an Ursa. All right. Charge him just like this. Oh, damn it! He's bonking me. I will actually have to. I might have to pot. Like I was jokingly charging him to prove a point, but yeah, it's okay. I guess it's fine. Yeah. Mm, I'm actually yapping. Is my mic on? I still have that stupid thumbnail. God damn it! I think they spawn faster. Or not? Oh, I'm gonna die if I go pick up that phone. God damn it! Wait, give me a second. Oh, I hate this shit so much. Okay, I'm not charging two mobs with this HP, but this guy is about to Yeah, his pet is gonna regenerate. He should be moving here soon. Yeah, I need to charge. Okay. I'll keep my oh, I did already. Oh, they hit me pretty hard. Something is... I guess it's because of my mostly leather. Well, it's not mostly, but my gear is not really... I'm not really like full of plate and stuff, and my plate is kind of outdated as well, so that adds to the whole thing. But yeah, being in leather is bad enough. Mm, okay, let's go this one. Kick this. He will wanna start healing soon-ish. Oh, he's following me. Oh, what? I thought he was gonna like stand and start healing. Okay, better for me, I guess. Uh, I still do need to eat for this. I know, is he hiding or did he like log off? He did? Seemed he logged off. I'm so bored. I wanted to do some dungeons, but I'm a bit late. God damn. If I was here just like well, I could have been here like an hour ago, but even like 30 minutes ago maybe I would have been doing scrollmans with my guildies, so that blows. I think they're farming it right now or something. Some thingy. Okay, this, that, do a quick this, do a quick that, do a little bit of this. Start cleaving. Overpower. Low HP. I'm prepared to die. Yep. See? Sometimes you just have to carry around potions. And I prefer to uh, click the potion rather than um, click the keybinds instead, or like do both, because it's like it's better for better training, I guess, because I'm not the type to like carry just one battery. So I'm not a panic spammer like battery. But if I want a battery, I'll like click it once. But for my spells, I can like just mm, one sec. I can just keep on fighting normally. Yeah. I don't know why I'm so. You see, like hmm, my DPS is consistent, but it's not really that all that exciting. I guess it's because of my weapons are pretty outdated. They were good for their time, but right now not so much. Can I do a triple if I eat? Let me see if I have my... No, I thought I had my my strength foods. I think I can do a triple with Can I? I did do oh, it wasn't a trip. Was it a triple? No. I did do the same thing but with Ursa's. But I don't remember if it was a triple or a double. I don't think I would have like popped uh, a double on not on my bad. I'm bugging on the what are they? The Yetis, yeah. I needed one then watcher, come on. This guy's gonna get it. Oh damn it. Okay. No. What probably dumb. Ah, the dooming man. What? A missing shot. Really? It's true though, I didn't kill many. But they don't give much HP. And I prefer dungeons right now. Hmm. Oh, Might of Manatil. I just dislike the way that item looks. I would, to be honest, like I would literally take anything over it. So let's look. Two shamans. What's up there? One Ursa. Mm. Mm. Nope. Okay, I'm bored. We are gonna. Oh, that's nice. I'll get a third one. Oh, we got three. We got three. Okay, I need to be quick, but I don't have. What? Where's my chicken? Risky. Okay. Okay, three, two, one, and go. No. Oh, you're gonna heal him, Dash. He didn't? What? Damn it. Thank you. But I noticed this one, so I guess I'm sorry. Does singing make copyright? Infringe on the copyright rules? Mm. Yeah, this is, I think, right for the last level grinding. Have I ever done it? I'm not sure. How many levels below can you trade? Okay, we got the Yetis. I can go and farm them. They are pretty. Their level is pretty nice. But are oh, ooh, 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 ooh. These are the herbs I cannot skip. But at some point I will need a faster mount. And I hate that this. I think I need an add-on. Some people say that will make them more noticeable. Hmm. What are ice caps for? I'm so oblivious when it comes to mm, alchemy, even now. What did I come here for? I don't know. I remember like leveling here a bunch of times, but I remember like needing to kill. What was it? When was it? I think during classic, but there were much more quests. Like this was the things changed again. Oh, this person hasn't been still no Shadow Dance. Yeah, hopefully it never will be. I hate that spell, even in Lich King. That's why I don't ever PP in Lich King. I hate that. But yeah, Shadow Dance is kind of iconic because of the Ragful PvP video. It was, I think, even called Shadow Dance. Mm, let me see. What is this? Am I a new dungeons out as well? Oh, right. Ice caps. Somebody was saying like that they were gonna be here farming ice caps, and I'm like, okay, farming ice caps. What the hell is that for? I have no idea, to be honest. I will need to search that up. I've had some, and then I was like liking backspace, so I think I threw them out actually because I didn't know what they were for, but I didn't throw out many. Had like 5, to be honest. So it's not that crazy. But yeah, I've thrown. I hate when it's like I literally have nothing to throw and then I just start throwing my herbs. That's the worst. Because that's my go-to when I'm like really desperate. I think I needed like space for these boots and they're like probably the rarest. I think if my legs drop on my first try, I will be set. Even with the shoulders, like I'm not worried, I think. But yeah, warrior is not that that crazy for farming tier 0. I think it is a bit, but yeah, as much as search the dead wood for gold for a clue. Hmm. Uh, oh, she means this camp, okay. Oh, I know this chain. Yeah, it's gonna end with. Can't remember hitting. Hmm. Ice cap. Yeah, there it is. Oh, it's orange as well. So it must be for something. I will probably, well, to be honest, now that I'm thinking, because they're so high level, like Mountain Silver Sage. Did I pronounce that correctly? Mountain Silver, or is it? Looks like a snowflake. Did I miss something? Oh, yep. Yeah, Mountain Silver Sage. Okay. Anyway, oh, there it is. Ooh, I've done a quest. Nice. What should I take? I actually kept this one. Am I stacking? I will lose so much stamina, to be honest. And hmm, yeah, this is not a really good choice. I don't know. I can keep it, but okay, he wants spirit beads, but that's for reputation. Mm, feed lines. Okay, did I get any? Oh, okay, that is bad. I need to turn off. I mean, I'm not gonna hit them, but it's just not a risk. Okay, I need to click it here. Unfriendly. I'm not sure if there are any good. I've seen the Argent Dawn rewards. To be honest, nothing special. People were like, "Oh, there's all these new rewards from this rep," but it's like, I mean, the shield is cool, but I'm not a tank, so it's not really for me. Let's see here. I'll take this one, and for oh, I should have taken piercing owl. Damn it. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna probably not gonna die because of missing a piercing. Oh, what? Wait, what? Okay, that's probably for the first turn in reward. Corrupted sunflower. Yeah, there's the one that the other guy took. Is it still there? Let me see. Can I see even? Hmm. Well, I need to go there anyway, so but it's not. Yeah, it's probably a farmed spot as hell, right? But it should spawn anyway. It's probably like a very known spot for these. I need to learn the name. I never used to like dabble in getting these. Anyway, drop Neff's head. Oh, they cleaned it. Nice, perfect. I don't have to. I just need to be super quick. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah, that is a good spot to be. There's a lot of fireballs around that um cauldron. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, of course, like later on I will be able to do that, but I'm kind of missing the the warriors overall, like just jump in there, clear everything in the camp style. But yeah, it is what it is. Gotta be careful. seems right now. Oh, hello. New content? I'm not sure about that. And that was a guilty. Mm, corrupted sunflower. Okay, there's one apparently. I can try getting that one. Let's see if it's there. Or I'm just... The problem is I'm kind of wasting my consumable. Yeah, it's, it's here. It's supposed to be this, but it's not available. Let me see. There's some quests here. Restoring grizzly bears. Should I be doing that? One hearts twisted. Telebeam. Let's see. I mean, yeah, people are questing here, but not... It's not my level. Just yeah, why is it? Oh, it's pointing me to the Yetis. Something is telling me. What is that? Who is that person? Wants you to kill children meats. Okay, this guy wants a lot of winter spring mobs. I don't know who he is, but I do remember some quest had me kill a lot of owl beasts and a lot of different kinds. And I remember one quest had me kill an elite bear back on classic hardcore, and I think that was really a moment where I almost died. Uh, how did I kill him though? I remember something happened like mm, never mind. It's like I'm gonna break my head thinking about it. I don't know. Anyway, oh, I removed one of the male ones. I apparently sold it as well. Hmm. I mean, that's fine. This is an upgrade, obviously, but I might end up doing the arena spawn and maybe like, I mean, the arena spam. But yeah, legs. Yeah, there's no way. Legs also grips. That is. So I would have to replace both of these for what to crit? Nah, no way. I love to play rogue so many years, then turbo outcomes breaks. What? Why did I break it? It's pretty. I don't know. My channel is not so popular that it would like I said something controversial. But okay. Mm, hmm. Yeah, people are selling fast daggers. It's even not unique, and the DPS is pretty nice. Reduces your threat. Yeah, that would be good for an assassination robe. They generate a bunch of threat. Immortal. What spec you choose? Choose. That's a interesting way of typing that. Weapon speed 1.5. I mean, at his level, it doesn't have much choice though. What? Left? Oh, yeah, these guys are geared. I don't think I have a place among them. Mm. Backs. Uh, is that prop? Is that backstep spam? But I don't get the energy. Like he seems like he's complaining. Yeah, it doesn't. Exactly. Level C. Yeah, he's 40, so enough. Immune? Immune to what? these discussions. My head hurts. Okay. Use German's pick. I have no idea what are these quests. Were these in the original? What's that? Touched. Hyd Great. This is hydral stuff. What? Travel spirits. Okay, can do that. I mean, that is fair. This is not hard. I don't know what they want, like hardcore turmoil. This mob is either up on the bridge or let me see. Let me see how I'm doing against these. I can way to go. Yeah, I'm not a 59, okay. There also might be a this much. Uh, mm, oh, damn it. Oh, this is the tiger that a lot of people tame. Hmm. Yeah, this mob is just not visible to me at this point. I don't know whether he's up there. Hmm? I'm just not sure. I cannot climb. Oh, there he is. I hope that elite. I know that about that. Okay, so he just wants this one. It said like that he wanted a bunch of quests. Well, anyways, okay, I'll go to the chill wind. Come on, this lag. I hate this charge lag or something. If you don't have it, you won't rupture. Petrifying for again I'm encountering the same problem. Okay. I know this spot very good. I mean these because I used to farm gold in these spots, so I would just endlessly kill the tigers and skin them. But yeah, as you can see, my inventory is full, and normally I would loot this. So I will drink this. Yeah, I cannot skin it either. So this can be scary. I'm just gonna do a throw and see like if a third one emerges. Oh, it's gonna be very scuffed. Okay. Let's try to do it regularly. I don't know why I'm taking so much damage. It's crazy. It's like uh I'm doing damage, but they are like destroying me for some reason. What? Is it running away? What is he, a humanoid? Runs away in fear. Yeah. Oh, ain't that something? Yeah, and what did I get? I didn't even. What is that he wanted? Provisions. Shard 2. Oh, shard 2. Okay, shard 2. That's the bears, right? Shard 2 children's. Somebody said the word wet noodle, and now, yeah, I do feel like wet noodle. There is one. So we will kill these and let's close the door and play some videos. One sec. Potato chips. Do you have the Arcanite transmute? Let me check where it's I think it's a pattern that you buy, right? Arcanite. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. Okay. How many? Okay, one thorium and one arcane crystal. And the recipe is 5 gold. Okay. That's very interesting. But for now I will eat potato chips and we'll play something. Sorry if it's loud, I'm not. This is about JCS. Played it yesterday.
Say they haven't experienced struggles either. They come to blows with YouTube a few times, most notably in 2022, when a series of YouTube's decisions caused them to announce an exit strategy from the platform altogether. In this moment, creators and audience members rallied around the channel and put pressure on YouTube to walk back their attacks against JCS. As many articulated at the time, Jim Can't Swim was a true crime channel that served a purpose on the platform, creating high-quality, detailed content that was enriching the community with its educational value. If anything, YouTube should be lifting them up. The people spoke and YouTube supposedly listened, stepping back and giving JCS the space to produce content how they wanted to. But what did that look like?
Breaking news in New York, the CEO of United Healthcare was shot and killed by a masked man near a Midtown Manhattan hotel early this morning. The shooting appears to be targeted, but police do not know why.
On the morning of December the 4th, 2024, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed by an individual federal prosecutors claim is Luigi Mangione. The social media response to this was otherworldly, and you wouldn't be blamed if, taken in by the fray, you'd missed the new upload from your favorite YouTuber, JCS. No harm done, you could always watch it later, couldn't you? Well, it turns out that this video was removed so quickly that a lot of people don't even know of its existence. An existence that represents one of the most bizarre, dumbfounding, and insulting creative decisions by an otherwise reputable channel. One that made them indistinguishable from all the slop they'd long been seen as the antidote to.
So imagine my surprise when earlier this month, after a 1.5 year long hiatus, JCS comes back with a video that immediately feels off.
A creative decision that confused all those who had been rooting for them barely a few years back and made them wonder about the identity and the intentions of the so-called team behind the channel. And ask the question, who are they to judge? With no clear answers from those involved, and only one person connected to this circle actually providing some explanations, JCS appeared to have much less to say this time around. How could a channel so fixated on a high detail of analysis lose all self-awareness in the space of less than an hour? Had Jim just found himself out of his depth, or was there more bubbling beneath the surface of this hot water he found himself in? My friends, let's try to analyze this true crime channel mystery.
Alright, so this is where the ad should be, right? Are we in between part 1 and 2 right now? Yeah, I think so. Shit, I knew we should have been in that meeting. How am I meant to keep up with this schedule? Well, you could start by closing Cookie Clicker, that's for one. Yeah, it's an idle game. I just have to have my phone up and I'm not actively playing the game. It doesn't matter, when you come to work, you gotta be locked in. You gotta be focusing on the job, okay? Well, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Gentlemen, 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 what is all the hubbub about?
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Look, you're not going to keep track of a project if you're doing it all in your head.
Well, what do we do then?
Well, if you're struggling to manage projects, Odoo I have the solution for you.
Oh god, not again.
Odoo is an all-in-one management software helping you manage your whole business, and their project application helps you keep track of your brainchild from blueprint to printing press. If you're someone who is always preoccupied with one enterprise or another, like many hardworking individuals, then this is the program for you. Here you create a project and break it down into stages. With that sorted, you can go ahead and seizing the day, adding tasks, assigning them to the right people, adding deadlines, and scheduling activities such as business calls and personal duties.
All of these apps are the same though. What's different about this one? Don't encourage him.
Well, I'm so glad you asked. With Odoo, you can choose between different views like Kanban, List, or Gantt, each with their own approach. Jim Can't Swim was launched in February of 2017. It's hard to exactly say when their first upload was posted, but we know they were gaining subscribers for any of their newest recorded content, so they likely experimented with the genre before settling on a style. Going by an old channel URL, they might have been known as Prison TV at one point, but I couldn't confirm if that was the case or just a placeholder. There are a litany of theories as to where the name Jim Can't Swim came from, and because I want in on the fun too, I'm going to say it came from this online grammar test. Nowadays, JCS is known for the large intervals between uploads, but back in 2018 they actually uploaded on a fairly regular basis. In fact, archives of their upload schedule say that they would upload at least once a week, often more. Their original upload model was somewhat different as well, covering different aspects of criminality, with videos not just on police interrogations but on young offenders, inmate perspectives, and even some more general videos on subjects like narcissism. Most of these videos have been lost to the sands of time because they were removed rather soon after their upload, presumably because it wasn't long before one series stood out amongst the others.
Modern interrogation is a study in human nature. It requires a great amount of confidence and a complete understanding of social influence. Interrogators are essentially human lie detectors, highly trained in psychological tactics and mental manipulation, which begin before even a single word is spoken.
The most compelling police interrogations was a video uploaded in September 2018. Although it had tried other content up to this point, it quickly became one of their most successful uploads. The video in question featured a compilation of police interviews interwoven by a narrative from a commentator known as Kazoom, a creator who had been a YouTube stalwart since the late 2000s.
Isn't that what happened?
I'm not allowed to speak it without legal evidence.
The clip was shown by the prosecution in the trial. She received life without parole.
The video provided a fairly cursory summary of these interviews without too much narrative to break up the source material in question. In spite of the fairly bare-bones production, these videos likely provided Jim and his team with the first taste of real prosperity on YouTube, and they sought to immediately capitalize on it with multiple follow-up videos in 8 parts. These videos continued to outperform all of their other content, most of which they would go on to remove, and by January 2019, they had cleansed most of their content to focus on these interrogations, for it had given them a bright idea on how to take their channel in a new direction. One of their earlier videos had been the interrogation of Jodi Arias, which would be removed and then the topic reused a few years later, but it seemed to perform well and probably made them realize there was a more effective way to utilize this source material.
This is what is known as the pause technique. After the suspect answers a question, the interrogator will remain silent while maintaining eye contact. This physical demeanor gives off the subtle cue that he expects more information to be divulged and may already know more than the suspect realizes.
Their next video was the first of a 4-part series on Chris Watts, who had become known for the rather unflattering accolade of murdering his entire family. JCS had planned to upload a multi-part series on his interrogation, his failed polygraph test, and his confession, with a soon-removed 4th part on his extramarital affair. These videos were accompanied by a far more thorough script than previous interrogation analyses. Alongside the credit to Kazoom was another by the name of True Crime Loser, who is also believed to work with JCS in some capacity, possibly script writing. They were clearly pretty savvy on SEO, as they like to experiment with different thumbnails, including this one where he was topless, which I suppose attracts a certain type of audience. Throughout this time, they also ran the channel in tandem with their Patreon, which they would upload exclusive content to. It seemed they had a pretty good system down, but nothing that was going to break any records. This was until 2020, when our favorite recurring character, COVID, hit, and more people than ever were spending time online. It was at this time JCS took the very bold decision to discontinue posting on their Patreon, saying that it was becoming a streaming service and that all content would be posted onto YouTube from here on out. It's hard to exactly say what their reasoning was behind this yet, but maybe they just wanted to focus their energy on something they thought had the potential to really blow up. And they weren't exactly wrong.
After the initial statement you just heard, Casey was asked if she could take police to all places of interest. She happily obliged, and then proceeded to lead them to a multitude of fake addresses which she had nothing to do with. She then took them to her supposed office at Universal Studios and literally led 3 senior investigators to the very end of the building, taking over 25 minutes to walk to, before she finally turned around, put her hands in her back pockets, laughed, and admitted that she didn't work there.
In August 2020, the channel had its first real bump when they released the video There's Something About Casey, which covered the now prolific case of Casey Anthony. This was obviously a great sign for the channel, but they wanted to build on it, and they did, with a video titled Jennifer's Solution. Although this was a notorious case to those who were interested in crime, the name Jennifer Pan probably didn't ring as many bells for the general public, yet this ended up performing better than their video on Casey Anthony. Why? Well, I mentioned earlier that JCS had been experimenting with thumbnails and titles. It seems that they settled on something around this time as well. The simple yet effective presentation of a shot of the interrogation room and a small quote that reveals just a modicum of information about the person at the center of the case. Around August, they had gone back over their old content and retroactively changed most of the thumbnails to be in keeping with their style, and clearly liked the results they were seeing. Jennifer's solution, however, dropped with this thumbnail, capitalizing on catching the attention of fresh viewers and quickly accruing over 10 million views. The deceptively casual title and thumbnail masquerading the morbid would become their signature style and would be utilized in practically every future video. Pairing with increasingly detailed analysis of notorious criminals, the channel moved from strength to strength and provided exponential growth to the JCS team, alongside views that very few content creators as a whole, let alone in the genre, would ever see. In spite of all the traffic they were receiving, JCS maintained a relatively low profile outside of their content. Every now and then they give thanks to a creator for promoting their channel, and maybe post a meme here and there, but otherwise it was safe to say we didn't really know too much about Jim. We assumed there was a Jim because he signed off some of his messages with his name and a kiss, and sometimes he'd become a bit sassy, but it was always acknowledged there was a team behind this content as well. If anything, the social media post told us two things. One, that the channel wasn't really most invested in social media outside of the YouTube channel, and two, they didn't seem to have the most patience for them either. Yes, if they weren't thanking someone, they were normally not happy with someone, whether it was TikTok, YouTube, or Hassan. It was these moments though you saw the more human side of the channel and its operations. They were grateful for the attention, but appeared anxious about a variety of matters, such as their content falling into other people's hands, people impersonating them, and the issue as old as time, monetization. These were human struggles that many creators experienced, and when you see those emotions seep through in their words like they did with JCS, you begin to trust that they care about these cases as much as you do. With all that said though, they'd still crafted out an impressive niche on the platform, with a pioneering style that felt personal to them, but also possessed a wide appeal, backed up by actual substance that seemed to inspire people to take an interest in criminology, while also handling these cases with the respect they deserve. It seemed like they were setting an example for creators all over the platform. So how would YouTube repay them? By the time 2022 had come around, true crime content was dominating YouTube, with numerous creators drawing millions of views for videos covering the world's most dangerous and depraved criminals.
So there's clearly something compelling about true crime, and the way it lets us consume content about grisly murder from the comfort of our couches. But what does that say about us as human beings, and as a society? Are we all secret wannabe serial killers, nosy voyeurs, or both?
However, with popularity soon followed pushback, and it wasn't long before some began to ask questions as to how respectful and ethical much of this content was, and YouTube's own part in promoting it. Now, true crime content has always maintained a reasonable amount of popularity with the general public, but for YouTube, the cold feet around having their platform manifest into a dark place with topics that had potential to veer into apocalypse territory had always caused them to be quite censorious. Although Jim Can't Swim hadn't drawn any great controversy with their content, the style they employed in their videos, which relied on clip-heavy analysis of killers and their often grisly crimes, was bound to set off some alarms at YouTube HQ. JCS already had their fair share of friction with the platform, not being monetized, not having a YouTube support team, and having to fight tooth and nail to have their videos considered suitable for the platform. They went through a lot of stressful scenarios, however nothing could quite prepare them for the new year of 2022, where a couple weeks after their newest upload they came to blows with the platform once more. Tweeting on January 6th, they tag team YouTube requesting they respond to their ticket regarding one of the most viewed videos, Wrath of Jodi, a video which primarily covered the criminal interrogation of convicted murderer Jodi Arias. It had already been uploaded for over a year by this point and hadn't seemingly drawn any notable backlash, so YouTube's decision to remove it didn't make much sense, but YouTube responded quickly saying they would look into it. A small problem easily solved, right? Well, apparently not. Over the next few days, Jim took to Twitter to say that multiple further videos were being messed with, including their Christmas with Cliff, which was their newest upload, the McDaniel video, and the Nicholas Cruz upload, pretending to be crazy. In two quickly deleted tweets on January the 8th, they claimed YouTube were running ads on reaction videos to their content, despite those channels being monetized, all while demonetizing their own content, implying that YouTube were fine pocketing the money as long as it was beneficial to them. YouTube again responded to their other tweets tagging them, stating that they were looking into this, but obviously not fast enough, as JCS continued to vent their frustrations on social media platforms, now calling on people to mobilize in attracting YouTube's attention. The call was heard with other creators reprimanding Team YouTube for their poor judgment and communication, while demanding that JCS's videos be reinstated. With pressure mounting, many hoped that common sense would prevail, but a couple days later, on January 13th, JCS announced that YouTube had refused to offer the return of the videos, and that they would now have to enact an exit strategy from the platform. According to JCS, YouTube would argue that their content had violated the violence and sensitive events policy. Obviously, JCS did cover these matters in a way that might blur the lines of monetization, but everyone broadly agreed that complete censorship was a massive overstep. There was more than enough context to understand why these videos serve some form of purpose on the platform, educating or at least informing. It seemed that JCS were all packed and ready to go, posting an announcement on their channel too. It was a very final statement with them thanking their audience for all the support, but accepting there was very little that they could do alone. But they weren't alone.
And a lot of people think that if the JCS videos are considered like sensitive topics or violating sensitive topics and violence guidelines, then true crime on YouTube is just dead.
Hearing that YouTube were driving one of their most prolific true crime creators off the platform provoked YouTubers and fans alike. Outside the fact that all these situations feel like they can happen to anyone, it just wasn't fair. Out of all the crap that people have served on the website, YouTube had decided to take umbrage with a channel that seemed to possess a beating heart and an actual purpose. People raised their voice even more, and the threat of losing a channel as significant as JCS also clearly rattled YouTube, who responded a few hours later, pledging to return with more answers. A few days on, the first positive update came. The JCS were working with YouTube to establish a solution that would return the videos to their channel, and 3 days later they returned with positive news. One of the videos had returned, and they were working with YouTube to restore the others. As comes with the territory of working with YouTube, it wasn't all plain sailing, and they would return a couple weeks to complain that the support team had aired them once more, even requesting their followers send them some video therapy to help them through these tribulations. In May, they took Twitter to complain that Jennifer's solution had been, quote, shut down just after hitting a spike in views. The video was still up at this point, but at the start of June, JCS put out a tweet again stating this may be the end, and that the channel was, quote, being attacked, with YouTube responding once more stating their partner manager would be in touch. Needless to say, it was a roller coaster, with JCS admitting they were going through something personal as well. They shared a couple of videos about controlled breathing, which seemed to imply that this, among other situations, had really taken its toll. Over time, though, the videos did return to the channel, with the channel turning their attention towards posting some memes here and there. This shift of focus, occasional complaints aside, seemed to say that Jim Can't Swim was staying on YouTube for the foreseeable future. But the uncertainty of that future still hung in the balance. It was clear that for whatever reason, YouTube or YouTube's robots had a bee in their bonnet about the True Crimes channel's existence. Yet with all the power of the people behind them, the best they could do is keep on moving forward and deal with the problems as they came. Although people had reservations about true crime on YouTube, this drama made it clear that many felt that JCS was a different kind of crime channel, one that didn't necessarily sensationalize their topics and maintained a factual, educational tone. Nearly every creator from the true crime sphere has some criticism directed their way. For YouTube to take aim at the one which seemingly had nobody annoyed was one of their most unbelievable decisions. But it also went deeper than that, to a channel's passion, ability to create, and livelihood. This drama had shown another side to JCS that many hadn't really been privy to before. One very human, one which was stressed, one that turned to the community to help bring attention to an injustice. Fortunately for them, the community responded emphatically, bringing attention to a cause and providing their support in ways that JCS promised to repay. But how were they going to do that? Well, although the rest of 2022 wasn't without its issues for the JCS channel, it seemed that the core conflict with YouTube was over. They uploaded a couple videos on their second channel with True Crime Loser while working on resolving the main channel problem, but by the end of the year they returned with a video to glorious fanfare from all and an accompanying post explaining that after a back and forth with the platform, they had finally given them some tools that should help them navigate the intricacies of existing on YouTube. The video was uploaded later that day titled Yardley's Ex-Boyfriend, covering the murder of the titular individual and the interrogation that followed. It was presented slightly differently to previous uploads, without the usual interrogation room thumbnail, but at least it was monetized. The video performed decently, though not quite up to standards of prior uploads. Yet this did not deter them, and in the new year, they uploaded more content covering the cases of Grant Amato and Sarah Boone shortly after. These cases performed better, with the coverage of Sarah Boone's case exceeding 20 million views. Finally, Jim Can't Swim were back in the swing of things. Although, to a few loyal followers, something just felt a little off.
This is 42-year-old Sarah Boone, who you just heard on the 911 call a few seconds ago.
Though it was a question hanging over each of the new uploads, the Sarah Boone upload in particular attracted some attention from people slightly concerned as to what was going on behind the scenes. Although Kizoon was credited as per usual for the voiceover, he sounded markedly different to earlier uploads. Not in a way that most people who put this content on the background would notice, but definitely one that sparked a conversation here and there.
The ex-husband leaves, and the officers wait for investigators to arrive.
The accent's there, and the bass is there. It does sound like his voice, but something about the intonation is off.
This police officer was brilliant. Her temperament was perfect for the situation. The investigators simply asked Sarah to stay somewhere else for the night, and to come to the police station the following day with any questions she might have. Sarah stayed with her ex-husband, then showed up at the sheriff's office the next day at 3:51 p.m. with an entire handwritten page of questions, the first of which was about when she's getting back her phone.
The voice here just didn't seem to pay much attention to the syntax. Each line felt somewhat detached from the other, and there was this strange repetitiveness in how the vocal tone fluctuated that just didn't sound right, and certainly didn't sound like the voice we'd come to know.
The only problem is that the lead interrogator really doesn't like Sarah, and abandons the task of pretending to, which makes this a significantly flawed, yet remarkably entertaining process to bear witness.
Now, Kazoom is a competent commentator. He's been creating on YouTube for God knows how long. Although you are prone to misreading sentences when reciting a script that's been given to you by someone else, he'd already proven himself more than capable of performing to a professional capacity in previous videos. This just wasn't right, and some people had a hunch that maybe this manifestation of JCS wasn't quite as human as the previous. They had been flirting with something known to many as artificial intelligence. That didn't sit right with some. In spite of its increasing use and popularity, AI had grown a highly contentious reputation in the creative industry, particularly due to concerns that people may use it to replace actual human labor while stealing from it at the same time, but also just because it almost always ends up depleting the quality of the actual creative output, with more than a fair few examples already proving this point. However, without any clear indication from JCS as to what they were doing, a netizen bit the bullet and just asked Kazoom if this was indeed the case. The response was, well, uncertain. Kazoom says that in the most recent video, they used something similar to AI, without confirming any of the theories. A few people quick to respond and say, AI or not, it was definitely worse than previous videos, and that they also felt the script just wasn't as good either, that something was afoot. This was repeated in a small Reddit thread where a few people gathered to try and work out what was happening. There were many different claims, including that JCS had lied in the past as the reasons why their content was taken down, and that anyone pointing out these lines and discrepancies would be censored on their platforms. There was this belief that something was going on behind the scenes, that JCS were attributing to publicly identifiable issues to keep audiences off their back. This was purely theoretical at this point, but it was also clear these concerns weren't just isolated to a handful of people, that if at least a small portion of people noticed the exact same thing, there's probably some merit to it. There was one reassurance from Kazoom, that this was apparently a temporary measure and that future videos would return to the usual voiceover. It does make you wonder why they did it in the first place, but who knows at this point? All people would have to do is wait for the next upload to find out if this promise was accurate. So the fans waited, and they waited, and they waited. All to no avail, and JCS's audience became increasingly impatient and confused. As far as we knew, JCS was back, but now they were quieter than they had ever been. Their socials were completely inactive, and people took to replying to their most recent tweets, inquiring of their whereabouts. Had they finally succumbed to YouTube? Well, going off previous posts, you'd think there would be more noise if that was the case. But they weren't posting anywhere else. Had the stress just become too much for Jim and his team? Possibly, but you'd think they would have done that at the peak of their conflict with YouTube. It all felt strangely uncanny, especially with the rumors surrounding the channel's team. Now, it was easy for people to theorize, given that they often didn't reveal much about the individuals behind the channel. But it didn't feel completely baseless either, especially now they had gone radio silent, barely a year after fighting so hard for their channel. It just didn't make sense. As soon as they had triumphantly returned, they disappeared into the abyss once more, and people were left wondering what exactly was going on with a channel whose premise and production seemed so straightforward. Would they ever return? And what would they return with?
Behold.
Well, towards the end of 2024, people would receive their answer. But it was an answer that would only leave more questions. The wait for the next JCS video lasted over a year, and some probably gave up in believing there would ever be another video on the channel again. However, as a great philosopher once said, don't stop believing, hold on to that feeling. And on December 4th, fans finally received a new Jim Can't Swim episode, this one covering the cases of Amelia Bassoon and Joshua Ramsawmy, an admittedly fascinating case of a supposedly loving couple who rushed to throw themselves under the bus when interrogated over a double murder. This had been covered by other creators, but JCS could always bring their own signature style to the content, right? Well,
Behold, the sacred union that unites two souls into a lifelong journey.
What the hell?
On the 2nd of December of 2017, Amelia and Joshua got married.
The video's introduction is a completely gravity-defying experience, and certainly not in a good way. Whereas in previous videos, the slightly synthesized voice flew under the radar given it was matched by a script pretty detached from its subject, here the opening declaration, "Behold," demands a human delivery, and it just is not given it. However, if that was your introduction to the video, this wasn't going to become any less bizarre as the intro proceeds, trying to tell a story, but with the AI-generated voice immediately removing any intrigue there could be.
They danced through the night to their favorite love songs, which consisted primarily of Ed Sheeran, then continued the celebration in their luxury hotel room that was overlooking the river.
The visuals are equally confusing, with this weird dancing visual and comedian/musician Tim Minchin being shown when they talk about Ed Sheeran. I think it's meant to be a joke, but there's no setup or delivery, so I assume most people were just left wondering who the bloke with the guitar was. The delivery doesn't become any less stilted as they begin to describe the family house, with bizarre animations that don't seem to reflect the usual pacing of a JCS video at all.
They moved to Florida, bought a house, and absolutely loved it. Except the only issue was that it didn't have a nice enough kitchen.
Ah yes, the family house with 3 microwaves.
So they decided to commit first-degree fraud.
You can see how an artist would have delivered this intro fairly well, with the rosy romantic exposition being contrasted sharply by a tonal shift into their criminal behavior. But the AI voice doesn't register those nuances and the suspense is meant to build, so it's read with no investment as if their fraud was just as consequential as a grocery run. The next part of the video isn't as noticeably jarring, it's edited a bit strangely, but if you're a passive listener you might be able to tune it out. And once the police interview starts, it begins to feel like a JCS video once more. But then the interrogation keeps going and going and going. And there's not really that much commentary either, let alone the sort of in-depth psychological analysis that people had come to expect.
She asserts that Josh left midday and returned at roughly 9 a.m. the next morning, claiming to have been out with his friends. The second detective will now contribute and engage the suspect from a completely different angle.
You know, before we met today, we obviously researched some things, and your relationship with Matthew was abusive. Would you agree with that?
Like, you could at least explain what the angle is, but I digress. The video proceeds now fairly ordinarily with some usual interjections until they decide to try another creative angle. The secondary voice.
The detectives re-enter Josh's room 14 minutes later at 5:52 p.m. The other narrator will now be taking you through the second phase of his interrogation.
I'm sorry, but who asked for this?
Putting everything else aside, just imagine being Josh right now. One moment you're in dreamland and the next you're jolted back into interrogation room reality, being asked if the blanket is helping with the cold by the guy who's controlling the thermostat.
Just as you might begin to acclimatize to the rather jarring vocal delivery of an AI-generated voice, you're thrown an even more synthetic voice that has no real reason to be there. I wanted to entertain the idea that it might represent the dual perspectives of the case of a husband and wife. But why didn't they introduce the female voice when they first changed perspective to the male subject? Why, for the last 10 minutes of the video, did their free trial run out? It just doesn't make any sense, and whereas I can say that at least the AI male voice is based on Kazum, the female one has no identifiable root, and so watching her try to make emotionally invested comments is painful.
Let's talk about the conversation you had with him about what he was going to do.
It's kind of like he's auditioning for the next Star Wars movie, and he's about to rehearse the most breathtaking fucking paragraph in the history of the franchise.
Fortunately, the narrative here is so minimal, it's easy to just tune most of the comments out until the video ends rather abruptly at the 53-minute mark. And I mean, the interrogation was interesting at least, but what the hell was going on for the rest of that video?
All that's happened here is the detective was applying an effective variation of pressure, and the suspect crumbled like a deck chair, well and truly folded like an overcooked noodle.
It's just a series of creative decisions that are so out of touch with popular taste that you begin to wonder how they ever made good content in the first place. There are moments of commentary, but sometimes the video goes on for minutes uninterrupted. The opening has no place in the video whatsoever, and that's not even to talk about the AI-generated voices. We know that JCS had been experimenting with AI in prior uploads, but people who were aware of this were under the impression that this wasn't going to last, and yet it had somehow worsened. The male voice had no tonal awareness in delivering lines that require human interpretation, and the female voice is downright laughable. What were they thinking? They had over a year to create something interesting, something that would bring people back to their channel, and somehow they thought this would work? It didn't, and the glaring AI was immediately picked up by viewers who expressed their bemusement and disdain for its use in covering this, not just from a quality perspective, but from a moral one as well. And around 24 hours after it was first uploaded, the video was set to private, attempting to clean its stain from the channel. JCS would leave one comment saying that they heard people loud and clear, and that this would be fixed by the next video. But it left people asking one very significant question. Why did they break what wasn't broken in the first place? JCS had something good, and after a hiatus longer than most channels would take, they returned with whatever that was. What on earth was going on? People wanted answers. Unfortunately, JCS's comment just wasn't enough to placate the masses. But given that JCS had next to no social media presence anymore, these people's only recourse was to ask those who did. And really, that seemed to only be one person, Kizoom.
Hey there. Well, these NA meetings have shown me that I spend far too much time online.
Kizoom is a very outspoken individual, and outside of his content spends a fair amount of time on social media, interacting and sometimes arguing with others. He'd also answered people's questions about the channel before, so he seemed like the first port of call for those who were uncertain as to what was happening. It was a bit strange as he was still credited in the description as voiced in the video, even though it obviously wasn't him. It's not exactly something you'd want your name to be attached to, right? However, when people did approach him, he didn't seem particularly sure of what was going on either. Responding to someone asking whether they would be using him again, he said he had no clue. And when approached for elaboration, he stated that his job was to strictly read the scripts he's given, with no other information available. When someone asked why he doesn't just take work with another channel, he states that he has hope that JCS will give him work again, though he's unsure of whether they will, as he doesn't really know why they switched to AI in the first place. He provides more responses a few hours later, which seem more optimistic, seeming more positive now that this was a temporary decision, and reassuring people that he is happy being credited in the description, and that he's being compensated in whatever ways the nearly 6 million subscriber channel can compensate him with. I guess they've fallen upon hard times that can only be solved with AI. A few days later, he posts again on X and YouTube, this time attempting to dispel any misinformation about his relationship with the channel, expressing that he gave them permission to do this and repeated that he is being compensated for it. Responding to people speculating over whether the channel was sold, he states that they have not, and he doesn't think they will unless they completely give up on the project. On YouTube, he also provides additional information stating that they've been away for 2 years due to personal struggles and wanted to rush out videos quickly, but now they understand their mistake and will actually take time in creating them. It's clear that obviously he's had some communication with the team behind JCS now, and this is the message that both of them wish to convey. But although there were some who reacted sympathetically, others were harder to sway. There were multiple glaring questions that this yields. Why would they need to rush a video when they've been away for nearly 2 years? How much faster is AI than just asking someone to record a video, especially when the audio isn't even that long? If this was a cost-saving measure, how much were they really saving if they started to compensate someone? How are they this unprofitable when they have a fully functional Patreon open that's been inactive for nearly half a decade? A Patreon that had over 40,000 patrons at its peak. How does a large, well-oiled content creator machine that outsources a lot of its production experience struggles that sets them back this far? All these questions were not really answered, and although that doesn't mean JCS doesn't actually have a viable explanation that addresses all of it, given how vocal they've been in the past to mobilize their community, it was strange that they weren't willing to just explain what was going on themselves.
If you've not uploaded in almost 2 years, there's no rush to get something out. You should come back with a bang. A well-crafted video.
People did not buy that this was an issue of rushing quality. Some believe they wanted to cash in on December ad revenue, and although it's certainly not impossible, I'm sure a lot of creators will tell you that December ad revenue hasn't been what it used to be for a while. They probably would have made more money waiting a week to put out a better video, and I'm pretty certain that quality control wouldn't have taken them more than an additional week, given that most of the problems they created take more effort the first time around than just doing it the way they used to. Although Kizoom had disparaged these selling rumors, many were still suspicious that something had occurred behind the scenes that wasn't completely unrelated to YouTube. JCS were known for removing content, but a lot of their tweets where they spoke to YouTube and even interacted with their audience had been deleted as well. They removed their community tab entirely, and now they were communicating through their voiceover artist. It felt like a very intentional about-face by a channel that had previously worked to retain a human connection with their audience. And I'll never hate on a channel for wanting to spend less time online. It's a good thing actually, but if you give people breadcrumbs, they're gonna want the whole loaf. And something just did not add up.
I was a channel that prided itself on integrity, on not bowing down to YouTube overlords, and which appeared to prioritize the creative process above all else, resorting to sloppy AI-generated voiceovers with minimal analysis and no heart.
Due to how quickly they removed the video, discussions mostly remained inside circles of people who were actually following the channel. And as said, the shooting of CEO Brian Thompson coincided with the video release, so the irony was the true crime channel was at least save some additional hassle by an actual true crime. JCS would return a few months later with another video, this one confirmed to be using Kizoom's real voice. Here they actually address the prior situation, or at least they acknowledge it, apologizing and pledging to do better. They attest the issues were outside of YouTube and pledge to make it up to their audience with more consistent content.
It was like a really bad.
Now notice how quickly he manages to pull himself out of the depths of despair and into casually talking about his house flipping show.
Many fans were accepting of this, I think grateful that there would be more content in the first place. But others were less happy that it still didn't really address anything that had happened, especially their aversion to even mentioning what people were annoyed at them about. A few stated this was just another video that had come from their Patreon, which didn't seem to reflect the commitment for high-effort content, while others reiterated claims they had engineered their drama with YouTube and censored anyone challenging them on it. We'll discuss that soon, don't worry, but it was clear that amongst some they just didn't trust JCS anymore, with former fans recommending alternative channels that seemed more reliable and quality-oriented. The view count also reflected this apathy. 4 million is great for a lot of channels, but it was a fraction of their most popular content, and given how often other creators had taken longer hiatuses and still returned to strong views, it seemed like this was a JCS issue. The lack of clarity paired with their inconsistency seemed to have just exhausted a lot of viewers into giving up on the channel. And that was a shame. But whose fault was it? I think it's very difficult for most people to grasp exactly how a channel without any changes to its personnel or operation can experience such a serious nosedive in quality. But that is exactly what happened with Jim Can't Swim. This genre is never going to be completely consistent because it is based on observational practice rather than science. But those with experience in the area of reading body language should never spontaneously lose grasp on the skill of building a narrative from observing human interactions. And yet JCS did not just do that, they did it while sabotaging practically every aspect of production.
I firmly believe that they used AI to write the script. They did.
The reasons and responses didn't quite make sense. The communication that people were given from Kazoom almost implied it was a budgeting issue, that they were compensating in ways that they could. Like a YouTube channel with a Patreon with a massive viewer base and in a genre that was at the pinnacle of its popularity couldn't somehow make sustainable money from creating content that made them popular. Yeah, sure. There had to be a reason for all of this. One that managed to explain all the confusing, contradictory behavior at the heart of this situation. Honestly, this is one of the hardest analyses given how little there is actually out there. But the first one has to be the one that JCS regularly put the responsibility of their dire straits on: YouTube.
You know, I've been in this cage for about 3 years, 5 months, and 17 days, but who's counting?
Most people love to point the finger at YouTube. I love to point the finger at YouTube because it always feels a lot more righteous to have some fury at the big bad faceless corporation who actually do screw up on a regular basis. Many creators will tell you that it is an often infuriating process to reach a human at YouTube who can actually help, and their policy enforcement is wildly inconsistent and very difficult to actually follow, particularly if you're a creator who covers more controversial and sensitive topics. Topics like true crime.
For this video, I've gathered all my YouTube knowledge into a full, in-depth, 1 hour plus course that'll teach you how to start your own monetizable faceless channel with AI. After watching this video, you'll have the entire blueprint I used to go from $0 to $150,000 a month.
It seems to me that it's actually easier not to try investing in creating actually interesting content when there's so much mass-produced crap that is constantly rewarded. To viewers sympathetic with their plight, JCS were a victim of not merely YouTube's ever-changing culture, but their guidelines. They committed a lot when they committed to YouTube. They had built up a strong Patreon following and chose to mostly put that on hold. It was clear when they came to YouTube they had the expectation that such content would be supported. Yet the reception was lukewarm at best.
This is Jeff.
From the start, JCS had a very strained relationship with YouTube. YouTube did not want to monetize their content, perhaps based on their old compilation videos, we don't know exactly, but they did complain on Twitter about it then. And although they seemingly cleared this up at some point, if you went on the channel, you'd be hard-pressed to find out on many of their early videos. They were not a channel that ran sponsors or merchandise or anything like that. They placed all their eggs into this basket. And although the views said a lot, they appeared to be shafted by the platform that they were posting on, when all they wanted to do was make interrogation room analyses.
You would have loved to have a motherfucker like me in Iraq, wouldn't you? I'd gut them fucking towel heads.
It's worth noting that Cliff never served a single day in the military. He also had no training whatsoever in combat sports or martial arts, unless you count the made-up variation of Kung Fu he demonstrates throughout this interrogation. Then by the end of the night, he'll have acquired approximately 3.5 minutes of experience.
However, we all know what this escalated with at the start of 2022, the ultimate transgression against a channel. The unjustified takedowns of JCS's content.
Dude, that is fucking nuts. What is happening? Why are they doing this? Like, why are they taking down the JCS videos? They are an incredible fucking channel. They do awesome content. I don't know why the fuck YouTube is doing this.
There are few situations more provocative than when a creator is targeted by YouTube, particularly when the website seems to target multiple videos at once. Every creator knows that means their channel could be up for deletion, and JCS had multiple videos taken down in quick succession. This drove them to the point where they needed to develop an exit strategy, one that YouTube ultimately averted, but only after months-long discourse. Who knows what that conversation entailed, but it did result in return videos that were monetized. JCS relayed that YouTube had given them more tools, but those tools clearly hadn't been of any use. And if their silence after March 2023 didn't tell you that they'd given up on the platform, their upload in December 2024 certainly did. Was their AI upload just an exasperated attempt from a channel that was constantly fighting for its existence? Were they another casualty of YouTube's often censorious policy? Well, it's a strange one, with one really burning question at the center of it. If JCS were treated so awfully by YouTube, why do they seek to consolidate their presence solely on that platform? We know that at their peak, they had at least a 5-figure-a-month Patreon page. If YouTube weren't treating them fairly, then surely they could consolidate their income by referring people to their Patreon and giving it a little activity. The principle of it is still frustrating, I understand that. YouTube has rendered your platform unsustainable alone, and it shouldn't have. But if it would keep you producing high-quality content while you're trying to sort out your place in the online world, then surely it was a much better option, not just for you, but for your viewers as well. Yet they just didn't seem interested in this. One of the recurring comments I found from JCS fans was just about how they had actually been scaling back their Patreon since they stopped using it, removing videos and then recutting them for uploads. I don't know the specifics of this, but if anything, it said that JCS were trying to increase their presence on YouTube, despite the fact the platform had been evidently hostile to them. Why would you be relocating content to a website that has, by your own claims, repeatedly removed your videos? Surely it'd be a great idea to at least have a paid platform where you show what YouTube doesn't want you to. That's what the Patreon was set up for in the first place, wasn't it? Maybe YouTube was to blame in part for failing to support a creator, but it still felt like we didn't have the full picture, which explained JCS's side of the story. So what puzzle pieces would help us fill that in? Well, let's return to the central conflict between JCS and YouTube, where witness testimony and physical evidence tells us an even stranger version of events than the one that we know so far. One of the more cynical readings of JCS's behavior I would encounter is that every decision was just really to increase their earnings. On the surface, this doesn't make much sense. Surely the more financially sound decision would be to return to their at least $40k a month Patreon. However, a former patron commented on a recent upload by YouTuber Aziz, claiming that JCS left Patreon after crashing out over their content being pirated from the site, which of course caused them to lose money. Now, content will always be pirated, and this seemed like a strange thing for someone with 40,000 patrons to complain about. But we do know JCS were very, very protective of their content, while also regularly removing old videos and deleting social media posts. When someone tried to archive their videos, JCS threatened to strike them. When someone uploaded them onto an archive site, it was removed, probably at JCS's behest. And when people asked them about access to unlisted and private videos, JCS would refuse. In fact, when someone asked them if they could watch an unlisted video in September 2021, JCS said no, with exception to the Prince Andrew one, which was a curious response. I mean, if you don't want someone to watch an unlisted video, just set it to private. For a channel that absolutely rocked the algorithm, JCS's understandings of the inner workings of YouTube seemed shaky at best. When researching this video, I would constantly come across these sporadic claims that JCS was censoring people in their Reddit who alleged that they fabricated or at least exaggerated any rift with YouTube. You can't really do too much with such a claim because what happened between JCS and YouTube can only be as verifiable as the public interactions between the two parties. But there was no explanation that would point to an absolutely crystal clear motive behind falsely claiming that YouTube was taking down your videos. And surely they were putting their own integrity at risk if YouTube were to call them out on it. Nevertheless, the question as to why they would censor people who showed evidence to suggest that they weren't being honest is too curious a corroborated matter to completely ignore. So reasoning aside, what does the evidence say? Well, the videos taken down this time were What Pretending to be Crazy Looks Like, Wrath of Jody, Christmas with Cliff, and the bizarre case of Stephen McDaniel. The best chance of working out where these videos were is looking at the archive sites. Stephen McDaniel does not have any clear archives around the time of the drama. However, the other three do, and they do tell us at least an interesting story. On January 13th, the same day that JCS announced they'd received no leeway from YouTube, the Christmas with Cliff YouTube video was archived, while the archive page says the video had been set to private. This is also the case with What Pretending to be Crazy Looks Like, which YouTube says is privated on the same day. But the Wrath of Jody video is slightly different. On January 10th, that one is archived, but it's unlisted. Now, everyone knows what happens when YouTube takes down a video. It's not private or unlisted, it's just removed. And sometimes they'll give you an explanation, sometimes they won't. One thing is probably true though, that it's not the archive sites that are lying. Now, this doesn't preclude every possible explanation. It's still feasible that YouTube took down the videos and then negotiated them, but JCS left them unlisted or private while they negotiated their return to the platform. But it's certainly not the impression we'd received going off the tweets, and there are other red flags as well. First, there's the tweet the day before all of this on the 5th of January. This concerned annoyance at the monetization on their channel. It was certainly a coincidence this came a day before they started making a variety of claims that videos of theirs had been taken down. And although JCS are known for deleting a lot of their tweets, this one was deleted more quickly once their conflict with YouTube began garnering more and more attention. Then there's the tweet announcing the exit strategy on January 13th. Here they show what appear to be guidelines relating to their videos removal. This was the first time they'd shown any sort of screenshot regarding this. The issue is that this isn't actually from YouTube's guidelines for content removal or its susceptibility. This is their guideline page for monetization at that time. And hell, in the screenshot, it literally says that. Even if we're going off vibes alone, JCS are very vague as to what's happening with their content. If you had any videos removed because of a violation of the guidelines, you'd end up with warnings or strikes, something that you'd think they would be mentioning. With this in mind, it's very easy to see why some skeptical viewers cast doubt on whether they actually had content taken down by YouTube. It would have been a massive gamble on our crime channel's end to bet on not being called out by the platform, but YouTube has such awful internal communications, they probably didn't know what was happening, and they are very hesitant to call out any creators, as we've shown before, let alone the larger ones. So the fact that YouTube didn't call this out isn't evidence it didn't happen. But still, what would the motive be for JCS? Well, with the context of other comments by viewers, it seems that money is at the heart of this.
It's an interesting concept to think of how you might respond to what would normally be an easy question.
After this kerfuffle, although not all their content was monetized, with Christmas with Cliff being removed from the platform entirely, their Wrath of Jody and bizarre case of Stephen McDaniel did run ads, and all their future uploads seem to have ads on them as well, with them stating YouTube had given them more tools to navigate this. If what people are saying was true, they realized complaining about videos not being monetized would not evoke the same visceral reaction that complaining about videos being removed would. And to those skeptical, they had successfully duped the community into launching an anti-censorship campaign against YouTube, when in reality, they wanted to boost their ad revenue, all while allegedly censoring dissenting voices in their own community. To others who had known them from their Patreon days, this completely fit in with the JCS they knew, a possessive and short-tempered channel that wanted their content to be strictly viewed on their terms. There is one more example that might tell us what's going on. The Jennifer Pan video, which disappeared and reappeared a few months after, while JCS claimed their channel was under attack and tagging then YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki. We know that from archives there was a brief period where a disclaimer appeared at the start of the video for self-harm, which would have impacted the views significantly. Archives tell us that by August this disclaimer was gone, and the video is currently monetized. What changed in that time? Well, we know that the current upload of Jennifer's solution is around 3.5 minutes shorter than the original. The current uploads on Jodi Arias and Stephen McDaniel are also shorter than their originals. In fact, this is the case for many of their videos, indeed. Had YouTube told them what to cut so they could be monetized? Maybe? Now, if this is the case, I'm not going to hate them for wanting to have their uploads monetized. If these are videos they put a lot of effort and heart into, then I think they should. But I also think there are people who wouldn't be too thrilled to find out their good faith support of a channel have been taken advantage of, and people who'd still be confused as to their beef with Patreon and how much money would be considered enough for them. Is there any explanation that fits in with not just everything we went over, but also explains the sharp decline in quality from the channel and the turn to artificial intelligence? You know just as well as I do that this is all utterly confounding. We're like that one It's Always Sunny scene trying to connect these largely unrelated situations that nonetheless seem accented by the slightly anomalous behavior not expected of a channel of this size and influence. The truth was that as reasonable as the suggestion was that the channel had been sold or that ownership had changed hands, the evidence that pointed towards them always being like this was also present, and the theory they wanted more money even though they probably had a lot wasn't complete nonsense.
Probably about 5 things I could have gotten done differently last night, but
It's unfortunate it turned out the way it did. It is.
He was found guilty on all charges at trial and sentenced to life without parole.
We know that they started off as a more clip-heavy channel and they struggled to monetize on YouTube. It's very possible that YouTube told them that their content wasn't original enough to monetize. So they decided to invest in scripting and recording more original content, which led to the change in style. In turn, this improved the quality of their content and drew more viewers to it. They blew up after optimizing SEO and creating effective and unique clickbaits, but the number of views likely drew YouTube's bots to it, who demonetized a lot of their videos for discussing sensitive topics. Despite the potential to make a lot of money from their success, eventually this began to weigh them down and make their content less profitable than their Patreon days, which in turn led to them leveling the claims that their content was being removed by YouTube, even though this was not the case. After this was resolved, their videos were monetized, but still required a lot of effort and diligence, including at least voiceover work, but possibly more from secondary sources who they had to pay as well. So they began to focus on centralizing the process, turning to AI to minimize their outgoings and increase the video productivity, which would allow them to compete with mass-produced slop whose prominence had been growing on YouTube at that time, with YouTube becoming more lax towards unoriginal content. JCS hoped people wouldn't notice while they passed off as original human-made content which was neither human-made nor original, as many would claim they were just cutting up old videos they previously posted elsewhere. Unfortunately, unlike others will on YouTube, whether intentionally or unintentionally, they'd actually built up a reputation for creating good content, so their December upload was such a betrayal that people just couldn't switch off their brains and enjoy footage of a criminal squirming. JCS couldn't just cast aside their previous content this time. That's what made them JCS to many viewers. It's a compelling story, and would explain a lot of the erratic behavior that people claim to have witnessed over the years. It would also explain how a channel could suddenly just self-destruct in the quality department, as they were only really creating quality content to appease YouTube guidelines in the first place, up until they thought they'd found a more profitable alternative. At the same time, this doesn't answer every question, such as those relating to the nearly 2-year hiatus they took, which definitely seems to point towards some sort of organizational change.
Oh, okay. I think I'm a bit bored. I was hoping some some dungeon would come, but Dharma West is not really my, how can I say, not really to my liking, to be honest, and yeah, it's going too slow. Maybe if I went tomorrow, I'd get to somewhere here, but if I did a dungeon, I would probably get a level or 2 dungeons. I'd love to do two dungeons, maybe LBRS and Skolo, and then I would need just one more for the offhand. Yeah, that's it. That's it for my 59. I will get the hell out of here and get myself to Booty Bay or somewhere. I can't even do it right now. Oh. What the hell was I doing, bro? Why am I reading chat? Am I crazy? I'm gonna miss the damn pillar. Oh my hell. Wow, wow. Oh my god. I almost fell into that damn place. I hate that. I mean, this is not like it. This could have been deadly. Okay. Oh, I'm closing the mic. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's see. I never make it to the dock, to be honest. I always fall somewhere like that. Imps, I don't know. Can also farm blast lens. Less XP, but goodness. Then Winterfall farm. Winterfall? That's a bit curious. I think I'll take... Should I take the direct one? Probably, yeah. Oh, let me see. Ooh, rank 2 Nox. Did he get that, really? I know there exists that. Oh, it's not here, right? It's like will it even show class box? No. Nope. Doesn't show. There's another one of these. Oh, it does show the cross of poison. Wait, then it should show. It is in oh, damn it. It is in this one. Engines, trash mobs. Where is it? Come on. I'm like, what? Why isn't it showing trash mobs? Does it just like directly drop from somebody? Doesn't say. It's really weird. Okay. I know that it drops here, but doesn't show it. I think it's like rank 4 or something. Okay. Well, I've done the flight. I'm not just gonna fly around. Did I turn it on again? I did. Okay. Whatever. I'm gonna go downstairs, I guess, and chill it out. Where's my YouTube? This video was boring as hell. I should have played this one. But I'm gonna play that for the next stream. It seems interesting. This one was a bit boring. I don't know. It's not my type of video. Okay. Well, I've recorded just a bunch of quests which I've done 1,000 times, so I don't even know why. I was hoping like yesterday I would just get into something, but yeah, nobody is doing anything, to be honest. Let's see something. Cares encrypts. How is it what? I don't get it. The The guild is called Carrots and Grits. What the hell? So strange stuff. Creeps. And what's a Tower of Karazhan? Is it the I know it's called like a lower Karazhan halls, but okay, never mind. I'm closing this off. Hopefully some other day I'll do